Hey, fellow artists. So I'm back in the workshop today and I have two missions to accomplish before I close up shop. If you've been following my videos, you know that I am building a cigar box guitar for my friend Pete, who's helping me put together the musical program for my lecture about the history of the cigar box guitar, which is taking place in November at my local library. I recently carved out F-holes for Pete's CBG using my laser engraver, and I've just used my random orbital sander to remove all the labels and paint off the back of this cigar box because I want to engrave the back of the box with an image that is meaningful to Pete. By the way, I've been using this Craftsman 5-inch random orbital sander for a while now, and I love how it leaves my projects without any obvious sanding marks. I used to do this sort of thing with my drill with a sanding attachment, but there's no comparison. The sander also makes pretty quick work of the paint and labels on the back of the cigar box, so I'm very happy with it. I left an Amazon link to this particular orbital sander and to a box of 5-inch 60 grit sanding discs, which is what I'm using now, in the video description below. As always, using my affiliate link doesn't cost you more, but it does help me in my channel. So I talked to Pete about the back of box design, and he requested that I generate an image that included the Bob White quail and a tobacco plant. So Pete grew up as a farmer and homesteader here in North Florida, so these images are very meaningful to him. I also know that he's quite fond of sunflowers, so I incorporated that in my AI prompt in Microsoft Designer's AI image generator, which is free, by the way. Left the link in the video description box. So I basically asked for an image in woodcut style of a Bob White quail on top of a fence post surrounded by flowering tobacco and a sunflower. And this is the image Microsoft Designer came up with. Really cool, huh? So I've prepped the image for the laser engraver and created this alignment file for positioning the box under the engraver, and it's working on my alignment image at the moment. I'll be able to line up my box under the laser engraver workspace in just a few minutes. By the way, if you're interested in getting your hands on this budget laser engraver that I'm using, check out my Amazon affiliate link in the video description box. As always, I tell people to please subscribe to my newsletter and read newsletter number 5 before purchasing this laser engraver. It is not a plug and play device, folks. And feel free to shoot me some questions before you decide to make the purchase. Anyway, okay, so I aligned the box, focused the laser, and it's currently working on Pete's image. It says it's gonna take 19 hours to finish this? Okay. So Laser Gervel started giving me a 2-day project estimate, and I said, nope, I can't leave this machine running for 2 days straight. And so I revised the engraving parameters, and we're gonna start it up again and see how long this will take. Starting things up in Laser Gerbil. Okay, it's moving a little faster. If it's moving too fast and it doesn't produce a high quality image with these settings, I'll just burn over it again. All right, so let's see how this goes. Okay, a few minutes later, this is how much it's finished. And take a look. Look at that detail. Whoa, I've picked the perfect engraver settings here. I'm gonna have to screenshot it before I close out of Laser Gerbil today. Check it out. Beautiful. It's that time of day again, so I have to get my smoky herb fire going to keep the mosquitoes away. So that lavender smoke ought to help a bit. Nice. Let's get back to the bench. So while the laser engraver is doing its thing, I will be adding some gold leaf detailing to the headstock, tailpiece, and fingerboard of my leg fiddle prototype. So let me take you through the process. I will be using this very fine brush to paint on the metal adhesive onto where I want the gold leaf. Then I wait for the adhesive to go from a white to transparent color, and then I can apply my metal leaf to that, and then I'll just leave it drying overnight, and then I'll use a larger brush to smooth over the leaf. Tomorrow I'll add a sealer on the leaf. Now, gold leafing is done after you've already put on your final wood finish. This is all stained and polyurethaned and ready to go for metal leaf detailing. So here we go. Okay, I'll let that become fully transparent. Okay, let that dry. This will be a little bit easier because the detail is bigger. Adhesive has been applied. Now I'm just waiting for it to go from white to fully transparent, and then I'll be able to apply the metal leaf. While that's drying, let's begin on my laser engraver, putting on my goggles and take a look at how much progress it's made. It says it estimates being done in 2 hours and 10 minutes. I am definitely screenshotting my engraving settings. I, of course, will share that with you once the box is done. So far, it's looking absolutely beautiful. Perfect. All right, it looks like the headstock and tailpiece are ready to go, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply my metal leaf. All right, it's been about 2 hours. Let's check in on the laser engraver. It's currently working on the red part of the image. Let's take a look at the image itself. Oh my gosh. This has worked out better than what I imagined. Again, I shall be screenshotting the settings I have for this engraving, and I will share them with you. This is Pete's box, hot off the laser engraver. Isn't this fantastic? So, front of the box, we got some beautiful F-holes, and back of the box we got this beautiful, beautiful image. Wow. So I can't wait to add wood finish on that to make all of the details really pop. And yeah, you guessed it, I'm gonna add back of box laser engraving to my carved box and my custom CBG offerings. I gotta get my order forms together and make them available on my website, but yes, I've got the settings down to create beautiful images on the back of a cigar box. Speaking of settings, let's go look at that. It took a little over 2 hours to complete the engraving with these settings. Okay, so it's time to close up shop, but I'll be back tomorrow to check in on how the gilding went. All right, fellow artists, so I'm back in the workshop today. And before we do the big reveal on the gilding here, I am going to protect this beautiful art that my laser engraver etched yesterday onto Pete's box with some polyurethane. Okay, so here I have some high gloss polyurethane. Over time, I've learned that applying polyurethane and stain with a brush is a mistake because the brush hairs always seem to end up on the workpiece. In recent builds, I've been applying stain and poly with a sponge, and the results have been much better. If you have any other suggestions, leave them in the comments. I'm always good for trying new techniques. Okay, and so that'll protect the art and give it a little bit of a shimmer. I will leave this to dry all day. All right, on to the big gold leaf reveal. Here we go. Okay, so per the instructions on the gold leaf packet, I'm going to gently brush off the excess leaf, and let's see what we get here. Maybe a lot more aggressive. Let me try a towel. I think in the future I will make sure to generate a thicker vine pattern if I want to make a similar headstock, so that I can be more precise with the glue application. All right, let's do the tailpiece. All right, let's see how the fingerboard turned out. I just need to take more time with the painting of the glue. All right, now before we can assemble my leg fiddle, put everything together, we gotta seal this gold leaf and let it dry. Then we'll take the scrap leaf and just improvise a gilding on this bridge. Okay, I got some metal leaf sealant here. It's very watery. It's not like the glue at all. And from what I've seen with my shorty, once the seal is dry, there ain't no way you can take off the gold leaf without a sander. Now I have some leftover glue from yesterday, and as you can see, a ton of that leftover metal leaf. Let's apply it to the bridge. Okay, and we're not going to apply the leaf until that glue turns transparent. So let's give it a few minutes. It has gone transparent, so it's time to apply the gold leaf. Here we go. People who know gold leafing are probably like, oh, what are you doing? I know. I'm just a beginner, folks. I don't want to waste that scrap leaf over there, so I'm going to take more of this leftover goopy glue and apply it to a scrap piece of wood that can be used to make headstocks or bridges for more leg fiddles. So I'm just gonna let this dry all day while I continue working on other things. I was hoping on working on some CBG neck blanks today, because yeah, I gotta build a lot of CBGs for the upcoming craft markets here in North Florida. But I talked myself out of it because I cannot have sawdust flying around here. Well, these things are curing, especially that. And so what I shall be doing is carving out more F-holes on more cigar boxes, because I either am going to need those for new builds or to sell to you guys. Okay, so I got a stack of new boxes that I'll be carving F-holes into. I got this really cool pink Oscar Valladares box, Superfly. This PDR Classic Collection, beautiful box. Some more Arturo Fuentes boxes, a Macanudo box. And so, let's begin carving F-holes.
Hey, Frank. You were in here? How are you?
Oh. This is how the gilding turned out with the scrap metal leaf. Very nice. But look here, I've started assembling the leg fiddle. Stay tuned, folks. Alright, fellow artists, before I wrap up this video, I want to take a moment to plug my laser carved boxes. Right now, I'm offering my laser carved cigar boxes for just $10, plus any shipping and processing fees. But that's not all. If you're looking to add a personal touch, for an additional $40, I'll engrave a custom image on the back of your cigar box, like what I did for Pete. You can either request a design from me or feel free to send in your own image, and I'll assess whether it's suitable for engraving. This is an add-on to the initial price, so if you're interested, don't hesitate to reach out. You can contact me at psycheoperaco@gmail.com. I left my email address linked in the video description box for your convenience. Thank you so much for spending some time in my workshop today. I look forward to sharing more updates with you, especially as I work on my leg fiddle. It's almost finished, folks. Until then, take care, have a wonderful day, and chaito.